The challenge, I think, is the operationalization, the challenge of the experience of discernment in organizations, how to operationalize organizational discernment in leadership. I think that is the real challenge. So, how to put in steps, how to facilitate step by step the know-how of discerning leadership. That is the crucial question, and I think we do not have clear answers about it. I think we need to explore in different organizations, in different contexts. What we need to see is how this could come about. Okay, I think there are theories about that. I see one theory that is very close to that. It is theory U. Okay, so one of the closest operationalizations of this, what we could call organizational discernment, or discernment applied to leadership as well, in organizations. I have seen one model that is very close to that. That is theory U of Otto Scharmer. He talks about 7 different steps that could facilitate the contact, this inner contact, deeper contact with oneself, that he calls presencing, where the presence of the self is connected with oneself, and where the presence of oneself is connected with the presence of the inner self of the others. In teams, what we could say, share leadership in depth in organizations. He talks about 7 different steps. So listening to the diversity in the room, listening to the diverse voices in an organization. Always there we need to see what is the excluded different voice that is uncomfortable for the organization. Is it ethical to keep that voice outside? So there is an ethical question there as well. And this is a first step. So you need to see if all the voices that have to be in that space of common discernment, all the voices are there. Is there any voices excluded? And if that there is a voice excluded, is that exclusion ethical exclusion? Because the organization has to be ethically oriented as well, and the inclusion and exclusion of voices within the members of the organization, the workers, the leaders in the organization, that talks about the ethical component or ethical depth of an organization. Who is the one, which voice is excluded and included, listened to or not listened to in an organization? The first step, listening. Second step is observing. Observing the same. It's not only listening to voices, but observing behaviors. What is happening in the organization, in this section of the organization, in that team of the organization? Observing behaviors, how people act. No, you see the behavior, and you see what is functional, what is not functional in those behaviors. No, and you have to observe differences as well, and observe everyone. No, again, which behavior is observed, or what are the behaviors that we do not like to look at in the organization, that are taboo for the organization. You need to listen to every voice, but not only voice is important, facts, behaviors, measurable behaviors also should be observed and recorded, because that is also important data for the organization. So, and normally what we need to do is to go to the places where we think there are these type of behaviors that we observe that are most generative for the organization, most life-giving for the organization, and learn from there. And then precisely that, okay, you enter listening to diversity, observing diversity, and then you need to resonate. What is going on here? Is this difference, is this different behavior that I observe, is this different voice that I listen, or equal? So is it life-giving or not? Is it increasing hope? Is it increasing effectiveness? Is it increasing functionality in the organization? Is it giving more happiness to their workers? It is making people much more meaningful, the work and the people more meaningful in the organization. So we need to sense, to sense. It is also at gut level, no? It's heart, mind, heart, gut level. And in that gut level, there will be a moment in which you say, aha, yes, it is this. And you see that there is a type of consensus, so that something emerges in the middle and says, yes, this is the way. Yes, here is listening to these differences, observing all these differences. We say, yes, this is the next step in the organization. Yes, that is going to give life, to make the organization much more functional, where every people is going to be more happy. Next step. So, and from there, you will see, observing that pattern, that something, a way of organization, minimal organization in that example, or best practice within the organization, is going to emerge. Something is going to crystallize. Small model. Small model is going, yes, this is giving us the way. So, and this small model that is crystallizing, where we say, yes, 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 all of us, there is a type of consensus, every voice is listened, everyone is recognized in the process. So the organization is, from that crystallization, is going to prototype models. So this is the next model that we think is emerging from the group, listening to everyone, sensing everyone. So this is involving the discernment of everyone. So we prototype this model. So let's try this model out, just to see if this is the way. And then we try that model in different contexts, in different moments. And from there, we try to institutionalize the model. So that is already the organizational level, no? The institutionalization of the answer organizationally, no? So these are the 7 steps of the process, U process of Otto Scharmer in the theory U, that I think are very, very linked to the process of discernment in common. I think that is a way of operational definition of discerning leadership, of discernment. I think so.
Good. Is there anything else?
A very important thing for Ignatius, you cannot have discernment process without time. Discernment is a process, and processes need time. So now, when you enter in organizations with this process that require time, organizations have to settle the time. So it is a quality time that organizations have to give to their workers and to their teams to settle the space where they can touch with the inner depth. Without time, it is impossible. So we need to be very practical. An organization that gives no time to create this space, it's not going to be able of discerning. And discernment also has to do with giving time when things are not clear, because discernment is precisely a process of getting little by little clear. So organizations are afraid of letting the workers a free space where things are not clear. They are afraid of this not knowing. Nonetheless, this not knowing is a step through which one has to go if we want to be innovative in an organization. Because if we know already, we cannot be innovative because we know. So we need to go through the not knowing in the organization and take that risk. It's risky, mainly for those in position of leadership who want to control everything, but we need risky leadership that gives that time and space to all members in organizations to go through the process of discernment in common that involves the not knowing and that involves also to be lost at times, but it's to be lost that will enhance creativity and innovation in an organization.